Hey, welcome to the Chronicle YouTube channel. Busta Brown, your host. And in front of the camera is the beautiful Dr. Mishi Jackson. That's a tough name to say. Have it always been that way?
Sometimes people call me Missy, or Mitzi,
Right.
which are two wonderful names. But especially in the South, Missy is a popular name, but I just usually spell it M-I-S-H-I and people get it.
And they good with it, Mishi. I like it. So you're from Mississippi?
Yes.
M-I-S-S-I-S-S-I-P-P-I.
Oh, cricket letter, cricket
I guess they,
letter.
okay, like they did in Good Times. Remember James and the whole family, M-I-S-S, crooked letter, I, right?
Yes.
And they were moving to Mississippi. Boy, I'm taking you back. You don't look old enough to even remember Good Times.
Oh, thank you. I'm glad you said that.
Yeah.
I try.
So you went to the University of Mississippi.
I did for medical school.
Okay.
For undergrad, I went to the Jackson State University in
Hey.
Mississippi. But for medical school, I went to University of Mississippi.
All right, there you go. So you're a family doctor.
I am.
Family doctor. What? Why did you decide to get into medicine?
I have wanted to be a doctor since I was 5 years old.
Okay.
Both of my parents are in healthcare, so it seemed like the natural course of things. I always tell the story of when I was turning 5, I asked for a doctor set for Christmas.
Oh, wow.
And I think they must have run out, and they used to come in those tin cans that look like lunch
Right.
boxes. And my parents thought a good substitute was a emergency medical tech or EMT box, which it said on the outside. I was livid. So EMT is a very good profession, but I wanted a doctor's kit. So I was going to give my doctor's kit. So I was very specific about that.
Right.
So I ended up being really good in math and science in school. So that's the course that I took. I love community service and I love helping people. So it was the natural course when I went to school.
Absolutely. When you're a doctor, most of us assume that you're this extremely brilliant person.
I am.
Are doctors mostly brilliant people, or they know what they know? But a lot of the little things is like, oh, I'm not that wise about that.
I think it takes a little bit of all of those things.
Okay.
Wisdom helps, but you do have to have a certain aptitude and intellect to go to medical school.
Right.
But it becomes a recipe of compassion and knowing people and knowing your patients and relationships.
Right.
So I do a lot of different things during the day. Do I know everything? Of course not. I do know how to ask for help. I have colleagues that I can go to for help and resources. And if I don't know it, I'm going to be honest about it, but I will find out and I'll do everything in my power to help you.
That's one of the best things that you can teach children.
Mm-hmm.
Is you know how to ask for help.
Mm-hmm.
That's fantastic coming from a doctor that has her own business,
Yes.
her own practice. You had somewhat of a re-grand opening. You opened up in September, made some changes, and decided to reopen last weekend. Tell me a little bit about why you decided to start over again.
So we opened actually a year ago,
Mm-hmm.
September 27th of 2017.
Right.
And I opened with some challenges that we needed to overcome. So once we made those staffing changes and we have the team that we have now, we were ready to do something for the community, in the community. And so we scheduled this grand opening today. Even though the weather did not hold up for us, it was a really good turnout. We had some good health screenings. I even went through it myself and found out some of my numbers and things I need to work on. And so I was ready to open up in the community and let everybody know we are here, and I'm taking new patients every day.
Every day here at Novant Health.
Yes.
I love that you said some things even you need to work on as far as getting that screening, which is fantastic. Why did you decide to do family health?
I originally, when I did my rotation in medical school, I loved the family medicine rotation because of the relationships that the attendings had with their patients and seemed to know them well. I also love the variety of, you know, a challenge of seeing a small child for strep throat and then going to see an adult for heart disease. And then to the dynamic of the family helps you, and knowing them, because I do take care of a lot of families, helps you take care of a person better, I think, when you're primary care. So
that's good.
I really enjoyed everything about my family medicine rotation, and so that's when I decided.
So you know you wanted to do this since you were a kid. Talk to me about that.
Well, what do you want to know in particular?
You always knew you wanted to be a doctor.
Right.
Take us a little bit through when you knew this is what you wanted to do.
Well, I went through, you know, my artsy phase. So, you know, I was on the drill team and dance team in high school. So I saw myself being an artist of sorts. You know, but that was a reality when I kind of didn't make the J sets when I tried out. I knew that I probably wanted to stay in chemistry or biology. But really the epiphany was when I was going to do research as a chemistry major and not biology. I really considered doing research, and at the time there was a push for females to go into getting PhDs because there weren't a lot of females represented in that STEM part of academics. However, so when I told you I went out of the state a lot, doing a lot of research semesters in different places, research didn't involve people. I didn't at the time see an avenue to help people, and I knew that I wanted to help people. So
that's good.
I came to the realization I was not going to be a PhD. I was not going to be that kind of doctor, that I was going to be a medical doctor because that was my ministry, my calling. And that was 20 years ago. So,
Doc, let's talk about when we get close to my age. And so let's say 40 to 65-year-olds. We're not coming to the doctor as much as we should as Black men. Do you know why?
That's a very good question. And I see that a lot. I would say that men generally have the mantra that if it's not hurting or I can't feel it, that we really don't need to check on it. Oftentimes, if I see a male at the doctor, it's because he needs to get a physical for work, and I'm so happy that, you know, that jobs are recognizing that health maintenance and preventive care is important. Or his wife or girlfriend, significant other, made him come.
Wow.
And a lot of our health conditions, males are more at risk for. So it's really important to get checked out, I think, as much as females come to the doctor, males should come.
What should, you know, once we get 40 and up, what should we, you know, get checked out?
Well, I generally tell patients, or my patients, at age 40, you probably want to at least get a wellness exam every other year. Once you turn 50 and above, I say with all of the health maintenance things we have to take care of and immunizations, you really want to get a wellness exam every year. And at that point, a lot of people have chronic conditions that need to be taken care of as well. So that's why coming every year is important. The things that we generally screen for are, like you said, the number one diagnosis that cause death and illness in our country: heart disease. We screen for diabetes, high blood pressure, high cholesterol, and mental health. Chronic lung disease and is also something that we look out for.
Is it a way to answer why so many Black men are diagnosed with prostate cancer? Okay.
I would say I wouldn't say the prevalence or being diagnosed more frequently for Black males is the case, but I would say that when Black males are diagnosed with prostate cancer, it can tend to happen at younger ages and be more aggressive.
Okay.
That's why I usually start checking a prostate-specific antigen, which is called a PSA, and it's a screening test for prostate cancer. I start checking at age 40, especially in Black men.
Gotcha. What are women overlooking?
I would say women are overlooking two things when it comes to screenings, and that would be getting their annual mammograms. We think that maybe skipping a year or two is okay. I have seen a normal mammogram, and a year later, the patient had breast cancer. So please don't skip your annual screenings. And we're missing our pap smears. Cervical cancer deaths really went down when the pap smear came into effect. And now that we know what causes the majority of cervical cancers, helps us screen well as too. But a woman who goes more than 10 years without a pap smear is really at risk for cervical cancer death.
So often should women get checked?
The newer recommendations makes a lot of women happy, because we used to have to go every year. Every 3 years is standard if your pap smears have been normal. It's more frequent if you've had abnormalities.
So being that you're a family doctor, let's talk about when children age out. When you turn 18, you're no longer under pediatric care. But they still need medical care, and the parents don't. We can't convince our kids to go to the doctor like they should. We can't make the doctor's appointments like we used to. But these kids need to go. Yeah. How often should when you hit 18, how often should they continue going to the doctor? And what are some of the things they need to get checked?
That's a very good question. And just talking about family medicine, it's a very good place for that age patient to be and start earlier. We could start as early as 5 or 12 in family medicine, and they can age into their doctor and not have to change, because family medicine is trained to see children, adults, young adults, and older adults. But if you have been seeing a pediatrician, 18 is a perfect age to go ahead and transition into an adult physician. And I would say there are healthcare things basically that age group doesn't think about. Generally, they're young and healthy, and they don't come to the doctor unless something is wrong, which hardly things are wrong. Health maintenance screenings are important. For males, particularly learning about doing testicular exams regularly, because testicular cancer is a disease of young men in their 20s and 30s. So checking that out. A pap smear is recommended for females at age 21, whether they are sexually active or not. And a lot of females may not know that, so they may not get their first pap smear. Gotcha. I always talk about mental health being very important foundation-wise. We're seeing a lot of increased stress in the younger ages, particularly with our new social aspect of media and digital being part of our social aspect, and the 24-hour news cycle. Kids are becoming more stressed, so you really want to get them checked out regularly and pay attention to those things.
We need to put that social media stuff down.
A little bit.
Somewhat.
But, I would say regular checkups throughout the 20s, probably every other year or so, is really important. Skipping 5 or 10 years just because you're young and healthy is not the best preventive way to go.
What else you think is playing a big role with mental health with our young people? Because I know, social media mess with your self-esteem. It really does. What else plays a big role in depression with our young people?
I would say getting involved in chemical substances earlier on can play a role. With the social media aspects, relationships are different. I would say even society in the world is different in how we relate to each other. Like the interesting or the interest lies more in reality TV shows and things that are probably a more negative aspect that kind of feeds into a negative role or into a teen's life. So just good family support and having positive outlets and relationships is really important for the support structure for a team.
This is an interesting question to ask. Diabetes has always been like close to that number one killer, heart disease with Black people. Mm-hmm. Do you find mental health creeping up?
I would say it like this. Mental health is the foundation. I find that a lot of times people ignore it for other numbers, or they ignore their other health conditions that need to be taken care of because they're not in a mentally healthy place. They don't care about taking care of anything else.
That's interesting.
So when I see a patient, I always see them in total. And if I see that their mental health is the most important thing to take care of, I do that first, because that will bring them into a place, a frame of mind where they're able to understand and really care about the rest of what's going on with them.
What makes Dr. Jackson stand out from other doctors?
That is a really good question. I think I have a real passion for what I do. I really love helping people. I really listen to my patients, and that really helps me know what's going on with you. I always say that if you really listen to a person, 90% of the times they're going to tell you what's going on with them if you just listen. I'm compassionate, I'm hardworking, and I will do everything in my power to help and find out what's going on with you.
I believe listening, that's the number one communication skill, is listening. Mm-hmm. Compassion as well. And I think that helps us open up to our doctors. Because when we believe our doctors consider us extended family members, we feel a lot more open to say, hey, this is really what's happening. Mm-hmm. A little bit about your family. I know your husband's a chemist.
Yes.
Did you meet in college?
I did.
Okay.
No, we started dating when I was 19. I know that sounds really obsolete and old and archaic, but yeah, we started dating when I was 19. Yeah. And we've been married 20 years.
Wow.
We have 2 children, 18 and 17. My 18-year-old is in her freshman year of college, and my son Thaddeus is a high school senior.
What is she studying, your daughter? Shelby, right?
Shelby is studying international business.
Wow. That's serious. So Thaddeus, let's say the second.
Yes.
And what is his interest?
He is interested in both engineering and business.
Okay.
So we will see.
We'll see. Yeah. Let him know that the highest paid robotic engineer is a guy from Africa. And he's the highest paid engineer in the world.
Wow.
Yeah, that's serious. So that is on his way.
Yes.
Yeah. Appreciate you talking to us.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, stay good. And we just wish you continued success, Dr. Jackson.
Thank you. The pleasure was mine.